Hey guys, Brian and Erin here from 5 to Go. Today we're talking about boondocking.
Boondocking?
Boondocking.
What's that?
Well, we're going to explain what it is, why we do it, where we do it, and how you
How
can
we do it.
And there's kind of like some unwritten rules about it as well.
Some places.
Yeah, so let's start off with what is boondocking. First of all, here's the word, boondocking, right across the bottom. This is how we spell it. There's also moochdocking.
Waldocking.
Waldocking, Lotdocking.
Yep.
There's a bunch of different terms. And
Yeah.
basically what all that boils down to is it's camping not in a campground.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to an RV campground, paying them $30+ a night, having water and sewer and electric and all that. It's
Right.
camping with none of that. And we are currently camping in a Walmart parking lot. Walmart's right there.
Right there.
And the RV's right there. And the Jeep's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, we are currently boondocking or waldocking, whatever you want to call it. Right? So why do we do that?
Number one, to get from point A to point B without spending money.
Right? I mean, it's completely free to stay here.
Well, kind of free
Well,
to stay at Walmart, because when we come to Walmart,
Well, yeah.
we buy groceries.
we're gonna spend that anyway.
Right.
Being able to camp for free for
Right.
that night is a nice bonus, and also being able to bring your shopping cart directly to your door.
Yes, and be
unload directly
5
into
feet from the
the
refrigerator.
fridge or pantry. That is also nice.
So another reason that you might want to do like boondocking or something like that is because you can get closer to like national parks or the thing you want to do. They might have like dispersed camping or Bureau of Land Management camping, which is no hookups, no amenities.
BLM, if you
BLM.
that term, yeah.
And it's usually free or nominal fee, and you can get as close as possible to what you like might be coming to see
Yeah.
at a
And
national park or something.
Actually, that's a good segue. Last night, we stayed at a Harvest Host.
We did.
Which is it's a membership site, and basically what it gets you is it gets you access to a network of farms and
Wineries, breweries, distilleries. I know it's a lot of alcohol things, but museums, just all kinds of different places that might have large parking lots that you can come and spend usually just one night,
Yep.
and you can patronize their shop or their goods and services that they have, or help out on the farm or do something like that. And we
Yep.
have utilized that a lot this spring
Right.
and summer already.
And while the membership is not free, the night
The nights.
stays are. And last night we used one that was right outside of Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier. We figured out we were saying it wrong. It's Rainier National Park, and we had a campground reservation. And we just kept looking at the campground. We knew it was a tight one. We knew it was an old one.
We knew it was a popular one
We knew it was
too.
very popular. It's a weekend. It's heavily wooded.
And we were
like,
gonna be
cell
driving
service was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And so we kind of called an audible yesterday morning, or no, 2 mornings ago, and decided to just cancel the campground, stay at that Harvest Host, and then find something else between there and our next destination.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of turned into a boondocking weekend,
Right.
which has been fine.
Which is fine,
Yeah,
which
and the
is
last
fine.
place was a little bit loud because we were right on a road. What was the name of it? It's right outside.
The name of the
park.
place we were?
Yeah.
It's Paradise Village Restaurant
Paradise
and Inn. And they actually had a wedding there last night, so they were
was
playing music until 11 o'clock
Music
last night.
pretty late, yeah. And then another place we had stayed, the Blue Heron French Cheese Company down in
Bistro,
Tillamook.
yeah.
That one we got woken up by roosters.
We did, very loud roosters. And
Very
then
early roosters.
before that, we were at a horse farm, a Ranaway
Uh-huh.
horse farm, and that was really cool because
Yeah.
she just let us wander all around her farm and see the horses and the cows and the chickens and all of the animals she had. That
And
was
we
really
got
cool.
Fresh eggs. And,
Yeah.
so that's a cool way to do it. Another way that we have boondocked is when we were down in Oregon, there are these things called snow parks.
Yes.
So another way that we got really close to a national park, this time Crater Lake National Park. Crater is very remote. Like it's just kind of out of the way.
Last time we went, we stayed almost an hour away
Yeah.
at a state park
And
south
that was-
of it, and it
that
was a long drive.
That was a lot, yeah. So this one we discovered what are called these snow parks. And during the winter time, you have to pay to stay there because people bring all of their snowmobiles and like backcountry skiing equipment and all of that to these very large parking lots and leave the trailers and trucks and all that and go, bombing off through the forest. In the summertime, They're completely
No one
empty.
there.
There's nobody there. There's no fee to stay there,
Nope.
to stop there, to park there overnight. Some of them even have dump stations and water hookups.
Yeah,
Or
that's
not
nice.
water hookups, but they have water available so you
Right.
can fill up your tank. So if you're on the West Coast, look for snow parks.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I really enjoyed that.
That was a really cool find.
Yeah.
And
again, we were right outside of Crater.
we were
It was
right
like
outside
10
of Crater
minutes.
Lake, and it was quiet because we were in the state park that surrounds the
Maybe a little too
national
quiet,
park.
because when I took
It
Vector
was
out,
very dark.
when I took Vector out right before bed, it was pitch black.
Yeah.
And it was one of those like super, super still quiets where like you're looking in the woods and
Waiting
you
to
know
see
that there's
eyes.
eyeballs looking back at you.
But Starlink worked there, and
did.
it was all good. We were able to watch some TV that night. One more note about that. Some of these places, most of these places, do let you run your generator if you have one. Most of them will allow you to put your slides out. You just have to ask or read the fine print or ask for forgiveness later if it's not allowed. Like,
When it comes to generators, and that's a good, we'll talk about that as an unwritten rule.
okay,
Because sometimes it is specifically written down.
Yes.
Because in a lot of the BLM stuff, like we boondock outside of Moab, and where we were, there was no signage about generator
Generators.
hours. There was another area a little bit down the street, where the one that we drove through
Yep.
to go in the backside of Arches. That one very explicitly has signs up that says no generators between like 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. or
yeah,
something like
during
that.
sleeping hours.
Yeah, it's just to maintain some quiet. And
Right.
that's because there was room for a lot of people
Yeah.
in that area. Where
Absolutely.
we ended up, we were at the Fallen
Peace officer.
Trailhead, which was kind of between Moab and the Moab airport.
Yes.
There was not a lot of
Canyonlands
space. Like we kind of took up the last little available space. But there were no signs, there were no limits about anything, so we ran our generators as much as we needed to.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things. Like we're in a Walmart parking lot right now, our generator's running
Right.
because it's hot and it's humid.
And we are
Amazing.
as far, like you can see, we're in the grass behind here. We're
Yeah.
as far away from where people are parking and going, and we usually choose a less populated
Yeah, get out of
Walmart,
the
ones
way.
with bigger parking lots and
Yeah.
stuff, so we can get out of the way. And if we were right next to people, we wouldn't be running it, and you know, it's a thing. And we won't run it tonight because it'll be cool enough.
We'll run until bedtime.
Yeah, we'll
or
run
until
until
it gets
bedtime.
dark and starts cooling off. Yeah.
And then
the
we'll turn
sun
off.
is the problem.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
normally try to arrive later. Today was we're just a little off schedule.
Discombobulated today.
But in general, let's talk about Walmart specifically.
Okay.
And Cracker Barrel.
Yes,
they're
it's kinda similar.
kind of the same. So we like to arrive at a Walmart or Cracker Barrel like around dinner time.
Yes.
Cracker Barrel specifically because you go in for dinner. Because why wouldn't you? And then you go in
perk.
for breakfast the next morning. But we like to arrive later because it'll be darker, it'll be cooler. We won't have to run the generator.
And there's less people
there'll
eating
be
dinner at 8 o'clock.
Well, yeah, for Cracker Barrel, yeah, but for Walmart, there will be fewer people. Like shopping, there will be more opportunities to get to the good part of the parking lot.
The good part being the far away part.
Yeah, so we like to arrive later and then get up and go.
Yeah. We
Or,
don't.
like if you have to go in and shop or you go in to eat at the restaurant or whatever, that's fine. But then go. Don't
Get out.
hang out all day. This is a replacement for paying for a campground for a night. This is not a replacement for a campground.
Right. And there's some rules that some people will say, like, don't put your slides out and all that kind of stuff. We put our slides out because we can't
Look where
really
we're parked.
function. Yeah. We
So,
parked all the way over here.
We are all the way on the edge of the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have my wheels about 2 feet from the curb. So our bedroom slide sticks out over the grass. It's not in anybody's way.
Right.
The other side of the RV is tucked all the way into these parking spots. So our living room slide doesn't even come out and fill those parking spots.
Right.
So the key when it comes to putting slides out, like if you have to, like we don't have to put our living room slide out.
No.
We can get around. Our bedroom slide has to go out or we
Yeah, we
can't,
can't get in
use
there.
our bedroom. In our previous RV in the travel trailer we had,
Could
you
only
had to open the living room slide to even get into the RV.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad if you have to run your slides out.
It's okay.
I already know that you're typing, Mike. I know you're typing. Like you're typing a nasty comment and say, don't ever put your slides out because you're not camping in the Walmart parking lot.
We're not camping.
We're not camping.
We're trying to.
But we're not in the way.
Right.
We're not using up any space that we weren't already taking up.
Yep.
I'm not sticking out into the driveways. I'm not sticking out into other parking spaces. Nobody was going to be in that space.
Nope.
So there's room for my slides. It's perfectly fine.
And we're not cooking out here.
Yes,
We didn't
don't-
bring our chairs out.
Okay, so there's a
We're
list of
not-
don'ts. There's definitely a list of don'ts,
Yeah.
right? Don't bring your chairs out and sit.
No. Don't
bring
put
out
your awning
grill.
out.
Don't put your awning out. Don't set up camp. Like
No.
don't drag all the kids' toys out
No.
and have them playing in the grass.
No.
That's a campground. This is not a campground. This is a parking lot.
Yeah.
Now, some of those other places, like if you're out in BLM, we had the kids' toys out.
Oh, yeah.
We grilled.
But we were there
had-
for like 4 nights too.
But
so
that is more of a camping designated area.
if you're in a parking lot, that's a little different.
Yeah.
So kind
So-
of just use your discretion. If you have questions about doing anything like that, just leave them in the comments down below or send us an email or something, and we'll be happy. Get on
How
Discord.
about Discord, yeah.
And then you can ask a plethora of other RVers what their comfort level
Now,
is with that.
I have a question for you.
Oh.
Because I am never the Walmart finder.
Oh,
You
that's
are
great.
always the one that finds the
Okay.
Walmarts. So, Erin,
Yes,
how do you know?
if you can stay.
How do you know that this Walmart was okay,
Okay.
but the one further down that way was not?
So I use Allstays, and we're not sponsored by them or anything like that, but I've always used Allstays. It is an Apple only, I think.
iOS only. Yeah.
iOS only app. So if you don't have that, sorry. It's a little rudimentary and a little,
It's not the best UI.
it works though. It gives very good information, and so you can filter by places you can stay overnight, and a lot of things like Cabela's and Cracker Barrel and Big Five, and there's a lot of places that just have big parking lots that are now on Allstays, and you can find out if you can stay overnight or not. Walmarts, there's a specific one just for Walmarts, and some Walmarts are red and some Walmarts are yellow, and yellow ones are good and the red ones you don't want to stay because they don't allow, it might be a city ordinance or a county ordinance that doesn't allow overnight parking for anybody. It might just be that there's not a good place to do it, and so
Yeah,
they
there's-
just don't
there's
allow
some
it.
small-
Most of them are like call the manager and asks. There's reviews on there too of Allstays, and it'll tell you, like, some of them have like paragraphs from 12 years of people. I've always stayed here and it's great, and we can go over to Jack in Box and have breakfast in the morning. And others will say, yes, you can stay, but only if there's enough room on the garden side tucked behind, and so you can just read those. But again, it's Allstays. It's an app on iOS,
And a lot of times
I
when
really
you call
like it.
ahead and talk to the manager, they will tell you specifically where to go.
Yes.
We've been told very many times, be out by the road or be on the garden center side, or like
Park
make
near
sure,
McDonald's, whatever
or
it is.
whatever's out on the periphery of the parking
Right.
lot. And another thing about whether you're allowed to camp in Walmart or not, a corporate rule for Walmart is
Absolutely.
absolutely RVers are always allowed
Mm-hmm.
to spend the night. It comes down to local and city ordinances, and sometimes individual stores have had bad issues in
Yeah.
the past. Like you've all seen RVs in Walmart parking lots that
Have been there
obviously
for
have
a
not
long
been there for
time.
one night,
Right.
maybe 1 month if you're lucky. So things like that will ruin it for everybody else. But more often than not, I've noticed that it is tourist-heavy areas.
Yeah, that won't
It's
allow it.
Places very close to big cities.
Or that have tons of campgrounds
Or
around.
they have a lot of campgrounds, so you're going to have a collection of like the small business owners of those campgrounds lobbying against this as an option.
Right.
And that's fine. We love supporting small businesses and patronizing campgrounds, but sometimes this is the best option.
We just need a place to spend the night.
You just got to stop somewhere to sleep for 6 hours.
And
Right?
some campgrounds won't let you check in after a certain time. Not many, but there are some, especially in more remote areas. Like, you can't check in after 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And so if you are running behind, you got to stay somewhere.
Or if you're running really early, I know it's not spending the night, but sometimes you can't check in till what was that last campground? The one
We
down
couldn't
the
check in
coast.
until 4 o'clock.
We had to check in between
4 and 8.
4 and 8 o'clock.
Yep.
It's the strangest thing we've ever
Never seen
encountered.
that before.
So if we had needed to kill some time, I know it's not spending the night, so it's not really boondocking.
But still finding
it's
a place to park
stop.
and not being in the way. You don't ever want to park up close or take up spots where, you're taking up 10 spaces where people could have been parking. One other thing, when we were in like the Hershey, Pennsylvania area, we got to a campground late.
Yep.
And it was 1,000 Trails, where it's a first come first served kind of place. We are larger than a lot of campers.
It was in our truck.
And it was our truck and trailer, so we needed a place that we could get into. The trailer, it was 12,000 plus pounds.
Yep,
So
38
we
feet.
couldn't be in like the swamp where it had been raining, like, because we would have just sunk into the grass. So
Are
we
you
got
talking
there.
about the first place?
We got there too late.
Yeah.
And so we didn't find a spot. So then we hopped to the other Thousand Trails that was just up the road. And we got there and it was dark. And there were trees. And there were tiny spots. And there were trees. And then there were more trees. And we were trying to get in a spot. And I was like, you know what, we're done. There's a Walmart that's 10 miles away. We're going to go and stay in the Walmart.
That's a pro tip
Sometimes
for
those
you.
things happen.
Don't force it. Like,
Yeah.
backing into a tree is not worth
Nope.
it. It costs way more to back into a tree than it does to go to a different campground.
Go to a different campground.
So yeah, we ended up at a
We're
Walmart
done.
at like 1 in the morning.
Oh
I
my
think.
gosh, it was
Yeah.
so stressful. And that was when the children were little.
That was 4
and
years ago, yeah.
They were ecstatic to stay at the Walmart. They always love to stay at the Walmart. And there were bunnies. So I just remembered
Yes.
that we saved the day because there were bunnies out at 1 o'clock in the morning in the grassy part next to where we parked.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. So while we're on the topic of Walmart parking lots and boondocking at Walmart, we have gotten a lot of questions on our Discord server about whether or not camping in Walmarts is safe. And I've never gotten the willies in a Walmart parking lot.
Nope.
I think the only place I've really kind of gotten an unsettling feeling about was a rest stop. And that's just because there's too many people.
There's just too many people going by.
Like,
And
traffic is a good thing. Like, having people moving and like eyes on things, and
Yes.
you know, you kind of it's kind of like herd safety. But something about rest stops,
yeah,
it's just
they're a
something
little
in the
sketchy.
back of my head. It just feels like people stopping at a rest stop at 4 in the morning are up to no good. I don't know why.
we are the people stopping at rest areas. at
And we're
4
up
in the
to no
morning.
good.
We're up to no good.
What are those people doing?
Yeah.
So I don't know. So, but Walmart specifically, frequently they are, after they close, because now, you know, since the pandemic, Walmarts have not been 24 hours.
Yeah.
They've been closing at 11 o'clock. So pretty much after they close, it's the employees shuffling out for a little while, and then there's not much. And you'll see like police officers or security
Yeah.
roll through, they're just rolling through and
Yeah.
just looking for anything weird. Some of them are actually patrolled, which is nice.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your house is on wheels. If you ever roll in somewhere and you get a weird feeling, keep driving.
Keep going.
There will be something else down the road. Like,
Hopefully.
you'll be fine. Trade drivers if you have to. Stop somewhere safe and just have like a little hour nap to take the edge off or something. But you don't ever have to stay somewhere.
If you don't
So
feel
if you
like
get
it.
that weird feeling, your
not
house
the
is on
place for you.
wheels. So just keep going.
Yep.
So before we wrap this video up, I do want to say thank you to today's sponsor, which is Snap Pads. We just celebrated our 2nd home anniversary in this RV, and the Snap Pads that we put on here were, I think, the second modification we made. Steering stabilizer, and then the Snap Pads.
Right.
Both of them have been invaluable. Snap Pads actually have been really great with boondocking.
Oh, yeah.
Like, especially when we were down in Moab and you're out on like really uneven terrain, there's rocks everywhere, there's sand, there's dirt, there's just this, you don't know what you're camping on. When you put those feet down and you have those nice big extra large pads and they're a little bit squishy, they really help even everything out and give you a nice grip on the ground, and they keep you from punching holes into the ground, especially if it's been raining a lot. Like, we
Absolutely.
use those in the Midwest a lot. You know, it's been raining and the grass gets a little squidgy, and you run those things down and they just stop. It's
Yep.
great. Before we had them, the one time we used them on dirt, before we had the Snap Pads, punched a hole right through the dirt.
Yeah.
Haven't done that with the Snap Pads. So
Nope.
we love them, and we love that they gave us a discount for you guys to use. So go to the URL below to get 10% off of a set of Snap Pads for your maybe travel trailer, but mostly fifth wheel, Class A's, Class C's. They're awesome. We highly recommend them.
Absolutely.
Erin reminded me that we did not explain what Moochdocking is.
Oh, I want to do it. So Moochdocking is my favorite because Moochdocking means you're staying in someone who loves you driveway. Because
on the street right in front of their house, yeah.
if you're staying near them, like
Yeah.
if their neighborhood allows you to park on the street or in their driveway, or you can like plug up into their water or their like 15 or 20 amp spot, awesome. Best thing, because then you're right outside the people that you came to visit and to spend time with, but you're not feeling like you're impeding on them because you're still staying in your own house and
Yep.
like with your own things, and it's
Or when the
like
kids start acting up, you
the
can bring them out of
best.
the house.
the best
You don't
thing
have
ever.
to. You don't have to sleep in an uncomfortable like guest bed that gets slept in twice a year and is hard as a brick and has like a crinkly plastic cover on it, and there's no air movement in the room.
Yeah, because they didn't bring fans, and they don't need the coolness that we need to sleep.
Or you're like us and you're up until like 12 or 1 every night, but the people you're visiting go to bed at 9 because they're responsible adults.
You know.
What do you do for those 4 hours?
You go back to your RV and watch your shows.
That's right. It really is great.
Moochdocking is the best.
We've stayed in friends' driveways. The kids absolutely love it. And I think it's one of our favorite things about RVing. It is the best way to visit people because there is zero pressure. And again, if you get a weird feeling from that person you're visiting, just keep on driving. So hopefully you learned something. Boondocking, moochdocking, whatever.
Tell us down below in the comments, what do you do? How do you do it? What's different? Do you disagree with us? Do you think we should do things differently? I don't know that's going to make us change, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, go to Discord, 5togo.com/Discord.
Yes.
We've got thousands of people on there now. It's a completely free chat thing. It's like IRC from back in the 90s if you're old like us.
I don't know what that is.
Or if you're a nerd like me. It's great. It's a place you can jump in, you can ask questions. There's tons and tons. There's a wealth of knowledge in there.
Indeed.
So we will see you guys in there. If you have any questions, let us know. As you see, we've been doing a lot of shorts lately. We're having fun with those.
Yeah.
It's just something we're like, oh, something pops into your head. You just record it real quick and then we share it. We really like it. So let us know what you think about the shorts. If you have any ideas for shorts. And I like answering questions on shorts. So I'm sure this video will generate some negative comments and some questions, and maybe we'll address those. Well, she's getting her fighting shoes on. Yeah. All right, so maybe we'll answer some of those in some shorts.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.